When a coal does not realize it's a diamond, it wishes it was a piece of marble instead. Oftentimes, all he had left in his bank account was $20. The modern day slavery is a job. Nothing wrong with the job, but I'm saying it's the idea that we have to be stuck. Why are you asking it for it to be easier for you? Worth. You don't know your worth. That's why you're comparing yourself. You think that's gonna come easy? Like the way you're approaching this business is not going to work. You're gonna have to get hung up on, cussed out, get no-showed. I'm gonna become the best soccer player in the world, go to Europe, make a lot of money, save my mom. When you decide, that means you kill all other options. Deal, I would say 90% of this whole deal is getting rid of your baggage. The truth is, they never really decide. And stop thinking the leads don't, it ain't got nothing to do with the leads. You just gotta work and work and work. Your job is to know what you want and why you want it. The rest, none of your business. Here, Haven Real Talk. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things today. One of the biggest things is how to decide. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when most people, this is the dirty word, fail, they say a lot of things that make themselves feel good. They say things like, oh, this wasn't right, the stars didn't line up. And the truth is, they never really decided. And if you look at the word decide, that is a very, very serious word. So if you look at the Latin root, decide remember suicide, right? Genocide, you guys know those words? It is a death of something. When you decide, that means you kill all other options. Like you actually decide, like it's gonna happen. There is like a interesting thing about the universe. There's an old saying that says, your job is to know what you want and why you want it. The rest, none of your business. Because when you decide, it just happens. I'll share with you the story of how, thank goodness, I had someone with me that had decided, even though I thought I decided. So I was playing soccer. Some of you know, came from Africa. And I was about 15, 16 years old. I found out my mom wasn't eating right. And my mom was awesome. I mean, she still is awesome. I remember, even though I was little when I came, I was about 8 when I came here. She would work all day. I mean, all day. And we're talking about Africa, y'all. Come back home. And I didn't see this, but my brother told me this, that she would, make the food, take a bite or two, and give it to the rest, the kids. And I mean, she was a thin woman. I didn't see that then, but man, that was my mom, right? When I discovered that she wasn't eating right, man, I was tore up. I was only 16. I came to America, and even though I came here legally, somehow my paperwork wasn't right. I couldn't get a job, right? But I wanted to do something. The only thing I could think of was what I seen others do. I said, why not me? So I said, I knew God was up there. I said, God, I got this plan. I'm going to become the best soccer player in the world, go to Europe, make a lot of money, save my mom. Like I was serious. Like this was no joke. I just was serious. I knew God does what he does. And so I literally went on my knees, said, God, here's what I'm going to do. Because I know God is not a genie. You got to do something. I said, hey, God, I'm going to practice every day. Every day. They had this field next to me. It was broken down. I'm talking potholes. Had this soccer ball. Wasn't even aired up all the way. Anyway, I said, I'm going to practice every day from 5 to 9. Just make me the best. Man, that summer, I practiced every day. And prior to this, by the way, I played soccer. I was terrible. I'm telling you, I rode the bench. Anyway, so I practiced every day. And anyway, end of the summer came. I got really good. I'm talking, I was good. I was fast. I was good. I didn't know what I didn't know. So anyway, one thing led to another where I didn't have any money either. And in Texas, I mean, in America, there's a thing in America that y'all don't know. It's called a pay to play system. That's why all these other countries, when it comes to soccer, they're so much better than America. Because in other countries, it don't matter whether you got money or not. If you're good, you just get on a team and you play, and your skills tell the game. Here in America, if you don't got the right upbringing, you're not in the right neighborhood, you can't be on the right select team. That was me. And so one thing led to another. I got into this school that was a private school. I didn't even have money for the school. Again, remember, your job is to know what you want, why you want it. The rest is none of your business. My teacher said, I went to this inner city school, and teacher said, hey, Mac, you should apply for this school. I wasn't the smartest tool in the shed. I just worked hard. I applied for the school. I got in, but come to find out, you know how much it costs to go to that school? 10 grand a year. Man, I mean, it might as well have been $100,000 a year. But you know what's interesting? I had dreams, and I was so naive. I went for the interview for the school, and the guy who was interviewing me, he asked me the questions. I answered, and he goes, hey, son, he saw my paperwork that my parents weren't in America. I mean, it was a situation. I had no means. And he said, hey, son, so how are you going to pay for the school? I said, and I was dead serious, y'all. I said, hey, actually, I already took care of that, Mr. So-and-so. Mr. Fitzsimmons was his name. He said, I said, I'm getting a job at Albertsons, and I'm going to pay for it. And me as an adult, I'm thinking what? He was thinking, like, what is this kid thinking? Does he know how much this kid, the school is? But you know what I love about what God did and what Mr. Fitzsimmons did? He looked me dead in the eyes, and he knew I was serious because I wasn't joking. And he goes, son, I don't do this often. He grabbed a shirt next to him. He says, it was a private school. Here's a shirt. Welcome to the school. He said he's never done that in his life. I get into school. After school one day, I'm just kicking the ball around. These two kids, twins, I say, hey, man, you got a team? I mean, they assume we got a team. I said, no. I said, you should come with us. Come try. I was like, sure, okay. Went to the team. I started playing, scoring, boom, boom, boom. That team sucked, by the way. I'm talking. They were bottom. But the coach saw me, took me on, and didn't have any money, but they took care of it. And you know what's interesting? That coach, he used to play professional in England, interestingly enough. We played the season. I was a top scorer. And eventually what happens is we were going to go for a tournament. The coach says there's a tournament that you should go to. This tournament was the same tournament. Some of y'all ever heard of a guy named David Beckham? Ian Rush. That's the same tournament he played in. This is it. The problem was I'm from Nigeria. So with being from Nigeria, I wasn't officially American, right? And story behind the story, my dad got deported because he got in drugs and blah, blah. So my reputation was tarnished. So I sent a request to get my Nigerian passport. Got nothing. Trust me, y'all, I'm going somewhere with this story. No response. The tournament was in about a month. No, 3 months. No response. A month left. No response. 2 weeks left. No response. I'm thinking my dreams are done. I'm never going to be able to do this and that. And I had stopped. And all this time I had been going hard because that was my goal, to save my mama. But the guy that I was living with, that guy, he saw what I've been doing all this time, working hard, getting up at 3 a.m. on the bus, taking 2 buses to the school just to make it. And he said, nah, Mac, we ain't quitting. He typed up a little story. He sent the story to Oprah, the government. He literally hit send, but he sent it to everybody. And I was like, nah, I felt so embarrassed. I'm like, man, listen, there are people struggling in Somalia. I mean, this is not a big issue. And he said, no, this is big. He sent it out. I didn't know what I expected. But here's what happened. Remember, the tournament was on Saturday. On Monday, because he sent it that Friday. No, it was a Thursday or Friday. On Monday, I get a call. It was a local news station. They want to do a story on me. I was like, okay. And remember, it was 4th of July weekend or week. They did the story. Anyway, they do a story on me. The story was supposed to air on Tuesday. Did air on Tuesday because there was some drive-by or some high-speed chase or something like that. I was like, dang it. Tournament's on Saturday, Tuesday, it's over. It didn't even air. Man, I don't got time now. I was like, ugh. It was supposed to air on Wednesday. Guess what? Didn't happen. It didn't air. I was like, dang it. Okay, now I'm really screwed. Well, it aired the next day on Thursday. And that same day, I got a call. I got a call from a government official from Nigeria. The guy says, he goes, "Hey, is this that kid that's on the news?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I happen to be in the airport. And in the airport, you know those TVs that show in the airport? Guess what he saw on the airport news? He saw my story. He goes, "Listen, I don't know what's going on, young man." He goes, "I will get that passport to you personally." I was like, "What?" It next day to me, I saw it on Friday. I mean, I got on the plane, got my visa. I flew. I was in England. Man, it was everything I ever imagined, man. The grass was so well cut. And remember, we have folks here in America. I mean, you know, you got the parents. Yeah, you could do it. They had whole stands. This is like 17-year-old kids. It was like I mean, I was amazed. Man, I took my chance. And just to tell you the story behind the story or how it ended, man, I remember we played the game. I played hard. I got the ball. I remember it was like the movies, y'all. Got the ball. I went through, beat this guy, beat this guy. It was me and the keeper. Bam, I scored. First goal, 1-0. It was a beautiful game. Afterward, I got an offer from a team that's kind of like the farm team of a team called West Ham. I got the offer. What am I saying with the story? All it taught me was your job is to know what you want and why you want it. The rest is none of your business. Just work hard. God got you, right? So keep that in mind as you go through this process, the process of clarity. You have to be just simply clear about what you're doing, okay? Because without clarity, you're going to be dissuaded. By default, it will be hard. This will be the hardest thing you've ever done. Not because this is FFL, it's because this is called life. You know what you're asking for when you're working with this whole life insurance thing? I mean, we get paid some serious money. But you know what you're doing, and I'm not being political. I'm talking about 200 years from now, you know that there were things called slaves. You know what they did all their life? They worked hard all their life to buy their freedom. You guys realize that? They will work hard. I'm talking a whole generation. Like for real, like you would be born a 7-year-old and your hope, maybe by 20, 25, 30, will be to buy your freedom so that when you bear kids, they will be born free, right? You are breaking a chain. The modern day slavery is a job. Nothing wrong with the job, but I'm saying it's the idea that we have to be stuck, right? And so what does the money we're going to make here do for us? Buy our freedom. And I'm telling you, you think that's going to come easy? So I'm just telling you that you're going to struggle because this is war, because you're chained up. I mean, last time I checked, when a slave ran away, the owners went to go get him, right? Right? Am I being, I mean, come on, y'all, am I being real or am I being real? They will come and get you. And in this case, the bills will come and get you, right? The bills want to get paid. And so in order to, in the past, you made money and the bills were waiting for you to beat you down. This will generate a machine that spits off so much cash that you'll have money waiting to beat down the bills. They got no chance. So I'm going a long way. I'm talking beating the dead horse to say this will be the hardest thing you've ever done. And in conjunction with that, I've asked myself a few times, like, why is it that I'm winning? I mean, am I weird? No, it isn't that. Why is it more folks aren't winning faster? And the reason is every one of you, you're starting at a different finish, a different line. You think the race is the same, but some of you have baggage on you. Like we started the same line. I'm like, let's go. Come on, guys. And some of you, you got so much baggage that you're trying, but you're going so slow. And part of this whole deal, I would say 90% of this whole deal is getting rid of your baggage and just go for it. And stop thinking the leads don't, it ain't got nothing to do with the leads. You just got to work and work and work. So I wrote this down, so I want to make sure I say it very, very clearly. I'm going to read it to you because this thought came crystal. So someone needs to hear this. I'm going to say it this way. I don't know what leads are you are best at, because some people cater to internet leads. Some people are better at mortgage protection. Some people are better at virtual sales. Some are better at telesales. Some are better at final expense leads. I don't know where you're best at, but just know the leads aren't greener on the other side. Like the difference between you and me right now is because I am more resourceful than you. You put me in a jungle and I will survive. Now, I don't believe it's because I'm better. I just believe it's because I grew up in Africa, y'all. I believe if you grew up in Africa too, where scarcity was normal, you would survive too. So your biggest challenge right now is you grew up in America, where everything's done for you. So you haven't been tested. You're like, again, excuse me for the example, you're like an X-Men, like, because I got kids, we got cartoons. You know how X-Men have powers and some of these kids don't know how to use their powers? That's you. That's the only reason you are not more resourceful. So I'm telling you that you need to become more resourceful. If you become resourceful, you'll know how to lead source. You will know how to get the best out of you. You are going to build a business, but the number one person you have to manage is you. Like you, your thoughts. You got to be a boss to yourself. And some of us, we suck at being bosses. How do I know we suck at being bosses? Because you're here. If you didn't suck at being a boss, guess what would happen? Well, you would already have everything done. You would be a tech billionaire. You would have $1 billion already. You would be the 1% of America if you didn't suck at it. But it's okay. I suck too. The cool thing is we're going to suck together and we're going to get to the top. Success is not about you adding more. I'm telling you right now, yeah, there's stuff to learn. Don't be confused about what I'm saying. I'm not saying you got to learn some stuff. Right now, you is who you are. You got everything you need to win. What you do need to do is take away junk that you've added onto your life. That's the problem. It's not what you got to add, it's what you got to take away. Feel me? All right. I'm going to just share these two other points here. There's going to be cost associated with this business. Now, as you're confronted with these costs, it's easy to say this phrase, and we're used to it. If we grew up in, like I grew up in, lower income, some of you are used to hearing, I can't afford it. The number one thing people say they can't afford is leads. I can't afford this. I can't afford to go to the conference. I can't afford to do this training. I can't afford. I'm going to tell you this. Your level of thinking right now, or let me, before I say that, there is a version of you that could, given the same circumstances, win in your situation. I'm talking selling 50 families a month, 60 a month. A version of you just aren't that version. So some of you got to become schizophrenic, like change you. Like the way you're approaching this business is not going to work. You need a different version. Like I'm talking, how like, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, like Hulk, he's Hulk, but he's Bruce Banner. You know what I'm saying? For Bruce Banner, he's like a normal, he's a scientist. But when it's game time, he's Hulk. Kobe Bryant did the same thing. When Kobe became the Black Mamba, Google that story. When he's on the court, he is a killer. When it's game time, you got to be a killer. So going back to my point, your current thinking is costing you. However much money you need to make right now, or would you like to make? Would it be 100 grand a month, 10 a week, help 5 families a week? Whatever you're thinking right now is costing you that. Because if you're not doing that right now, and I'm in the same boat, I want to do 100, 200 a month. I mean, my goal is $1 million a month. There is some method of thinking right now that's costing me that. So can you afford your thinking is what I'm telling you. And I'm telling you that question, but you're not really asking it. Normally, you will ask yourself that question when you get to the point of no return. When things are so low for you, you're going to say this, what the hell? I'm done. I don't care anymore. Tell me what I got to do. I will do it. But right now, things are too comfortable for you. So you don't ask those questions. You don't burn bridges because you're comfortable. So systems are important. I want to be clear. We're going to put systems in place to make sure that it's easier for you to win. That said, the goal is not to entitle you, it's to empower you. So anything that you do, and this is again transitioning from just you as you build a business, anything that you do often, you want to systematize it, meaning make it just something that's just done. And the people that are able to systematize processes are the ones that win. As you go through this business and you're trying to look for the easier way, it's not easier, efficient, but be very, very careful. Ease has a sister. Her name is mediocrity. Remember this, if it's easy, it's sleazy. It normally is. So what I'm telling you is sometimes as you go through this process, you will try to find an easier way. There's some things you can do more efficiently, other things you just got to do. Now, any of y'all ever wished, like I did when I was a kid, I would see like, I would think of Bill Gates. I would think about all these rich parents. I'm like, man, I wish I was born. Why couldn't I have been born in his son? Like why not? And you see these folks that, that the kids are made. It's done, right? Like they don't even have to worry about money. I'm like, why couldn't it be me? The question I'm asking you, the reason I'm asking that question is, if you've ever asked that question for the business, I want you to ask yourself the question, why is that? Why are you asking it for it to be easier for you? The reason that you're asking that, if I can be real, at least for myself, is because you don't really know your worth or your value. You don't really know how much you are made of. As you grow in this business, there are different teams. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm a believer in God, and he doesn't make mistakes. You were born into this team for a reason. And I'm going to tell you this. You know what's even more important than having things done perfectly? Having money, whether you like it or not, just not having to worry. You know what's more important than that? It's resilience. That's what's more important. I'm going to give you one example to think in your head. When we're talking about worth, you don't know your worth. That's why you're comparing yourself. When a coal, I'm talking a coal. When a coal does not realize it's a diamond, it wishes it was a piece of marble instead. You feel me? Do you know how diamonds are made? Intense pressure. Intense pressure. So it's a coal right now, and it's useless. Hey, you just burn it, yeah, it does one thing, but it could be a diamond. And all that time, that black coal is wishing, oh, I wish I was a marble. But what's more valuable today in this earth? A piece of marble, which is not bad, or a small, itsy bitsy diamond? You tell me. So I'm telling you that the resistance, the level of resistance that you're willing to endure right now will transform you from being a coal to a diamond. If you reject the opportunity to be able to pass the course, if you will, of the tests required, everyone's going to have to go through it. Here's what it looks like. You're going to have to buy leads. You have to believe in yourself and buy those leads. They don't cost any different than for you than for me. You're going to have to get hung up on, cussed out, get no-showed. There will be times like Sean Mike. You guys look at Sean Mike now. I mean, he is awesome. Did you know when he was doing this business, he believed he was going through the middle of a divorce. It was crazy what was going on. He says, as he went through this business, people would think, he was selling a lot. He had high cash flow, but that doesn't mean he was rich. He said, oftentimes, all he had left in his bank account was $20 because he was throwing everything in this business because he believed. You're going to have to go through that where, man, you don't believe. You're like, should I do it? Should I not? I don't have much left. If you haven't gone through that, I'm telling you, and maybe you're in a great situation because you've already passed the test somewhere else, you will. Or maybe you've learned it in a different way so you don't have to. All I'm saying is there is no skipping the test required. It's going to happen. Like, you got to go through it in order to become a diamond. You're going to become a diamond. And that's why we have this called the Haven. Just so you guys know, then the reason we have Haven Financial Group is because I've been to a lot of deals, y'all. I've been to a lot of deals where network marketing, I've been through all of them. And they say network marketing is the graveyard of dead hopes and dreams. I believe it works, but man, a lot of people died, right? A lot of people died. A lot of people was tired of the mess, the lies, the false hopes, the soul dreams that are really just nightmares. This was an idea in my head where people are they're tired. And man, when you're tired, you just want a haven. Here's a place you can come to where you're going to be safe. Everyone will root for you. It is a fortress. And here is where we're going to store the diamonds. That's you. So guys, I appreciate everyone being on. Again, starting next week, we're going to have the 8-week curriculum where we're going to learn from A to Z how to do it. Now, the goal is don't come back the same person you were when you got in. You should be better the next week. It's like a building block. You should be building on top of it. Because if you just see it and you don't do, you just wasted your time. And that is the one thing we don't have. Guys, that said, let's take care, take charge. Make sure you jump on FFL Home Office. That's where we learn. That's where we grow. If you're working, you should be there. I'm telling you, that's one of those tests. Before you can lead, you must know how to follow. You got to. If it's about you, it's never going to work. You will be a high-paid salesperson, but you'll never build a team. So that said, guys, take care, take charge. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. See you guys.